Hi everyone, welcome to today's tutorial, and in this video I will be showing you how you can recreate this light bulb packaging template. So as you can see that these flaps over here are meant to be folded, and this white icons that I have made here on the flap is meant for it to be punctured so that it's easier for you to hold the packaging in place. And it's super easy to do, and let's see how that's done. So the first thing I'll be doing is that I'll be opening up a new document. So for this video I will be using this A4 size document, which is 210 millimeters in width and 297 millimeters in height. The orientation will be portrait, and I will give a name to my document as well, called the light bulb packaging template, and I'm going to go ahead and click on OK. Alright, so when we open up our document, the first thing that we see here is that in this layers panel, by default this layer 1 comes up. So I'm just going to double click on layers 1 and rename this to template. And before I start, I would also like to make sure that I have my Smart Guides option activated. So in order to do that, I'll be going to this Views panel and making sure that my Smart Guides has been switched on. So the Smart Guides will be like these invisible guides which will help us to make our template. So I'm just going to zoom out now by clicking on Ctrl and the minus key on my keyboard. And now I'll start making the basic packaging first before I make these flaps. So I will be using my rectangle tool right here from my shapes panel, and I'll come over here to this middle. So when I click on my document, this box comes up. So here I have to give the same dimensions as that of my document. So the width was 210 millimeters and the height was 297 millimeters, and I'm going to go ahead and click on OK. So I'm just going to drag my document right here on the side like this, and I'm going to make 2 more copies on the left hand side as well. So in order to do that, I'll be clicking on Alt and dragging my mouse here like this. And I'm going to make another copy by selecting this document, clicking on Alt and dragging it here as well. So I'll make sure that my documents are intersecting with each other and there is no space left. So I'm going to make another copy of the same document over here in our original document as well, so that it becomes easier for me to add the colors in this now. So now that we've made this, I'm going to select everything and I'm going to add the same gradient as that of this one right here. So it's orange and black. So I'll come over here to this gradient tool right here, double click on this. And over here you can see that in this gradient slider, by default the colors white and black is there. We can also change the colors. So I'll let the type be linear gradient the way it is. I'm not going to change any type for now. I'll double click on the white one and I'm going to go ahead and click on this orange color, and I'll let the black be the way it is. Now that I have all my sides selected, I'm going to change the angle as well. I'm going to change it to 90 degrees so that the orange portion is at the bottom and the black is on the top, like that. Okay, so now we can go ahead and make the flaps as well. So I'll be using the rectangle tool again, and I'll be choosing the fill to be black, and I do not require any stroke as of now. So with the help of my rectangle tool, I'm just going to make one rectangle like this. And I'm just going to make the basic shapes first and then I'm going to edit them later. So I'm just gonna make another rectangle like this. I'm gonna make one rectangle like that. And another one's longer rectangle like that. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and make the changes now. So firstly, I'll be making this type of a flap. So I'll be using my direct selection tool and selecting this anchor point right here, this one. And I'll be bringing it inwards by clicking onto Shift and the arrow keys on my keyboard. So I'll select Shift and the right arrow key and I'll bring it inwards once, twice, thrice, 4 times, 5 times like that. And similarly, I'm going to select this anchor point. So notice that the anchor point that I have selected, that turns into blue, whereas the others are white. I'm going to bring it inside once, twice, so that it's easier for you to differentiate. So now I'm going to do the same thing on this rectangle as well. So I'll select this anchor point first with the help of the direct selection tool. And I'll use the Shift and the arrow keys to bring it inwards like this. Similarly, I'll repeat the process on the other side as well by clicking onto Shift and using the arrow keys like that. So once that's made, I can select this shape, right click on this, go to transform, reflect, and I'll be choosing this vertical axis right here and I'll be clicking on copy. So what that does is that it makes a mirror copy of the same image that I have chosen. So once that's done, I can just select my image and drag it right here onto this other side as well. Okay, so we've got this, and now we have to make the lower flaps as well. So in order to do that, I'll be using the rectangle tool again, and this time I'll be changing the fill to be orange. And I'll go ahead and make one rectangle right here. I'll select the direct selection tool and make these two anchor and make it narrow from this portion right here. So I'll select this anchor point first and bring it inwards by clicking onto Shift and the right arrow key like this, so that it becomes inwards like this. Similarly onto the other side as well, like that. I'll come back here to this rectangle tool, make another smaller rectangle like that, and I'm going to round the edges by selecting this anchor point and this anchor point by clicking onto Shift, and I'll select these circles and just round the edges off like that. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and make this one as well. So I'll select the rectangle tool again and make sure that my fill is orange again. I'll make one rectangle like this. Okay. I'll make another rectangle with which is slightly bigger. And now with the help of the direct selection tool, I'll select this anchor point and I'll click on Shift and the arrow key to bring it inwards till it becomes into a really long slant like that. And again I'll use the rectangle tool to make one rectangle like that. Now since I've made these shapes, I'm going to go ahead and select all these 3 shapes by clicking onto Shift. I'll come over here to this Pathfinder panel, and in this shape modes, I'll be selecting the first shape which says Unite. So once that's made, I can select this shape, right click on this, go to Transform, click on Reflect, And in this axis, I'll be choosing the vertical axis to make a mirror image onto the other side as well. And I'll click on enter. So you can see that this mirror image is made, but I want a copy of this to be made as well. So I'll go back and I'll click on copy. So a copy is made, and I can then just drag this shape onto this other side like that. And now for the last flap that I have to make, I will be using the rectangle tool again and making one rectangle like this. And I'll make another rectangle like that, but smaller, like this. Okay, I'm going to select these two rectangles we've just made, come over here to the shape builder tool, and I'll click on Alt. So notice that when I click on Alt, the plus changes into minus, right? So what the shape builder tool does is that it recognizes these two individual shapes, and I want to get rid of this shape right here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click on Alt and just select this inner shape like that. And there you go. So we've got this. So the only thing that is left to do is that I'll select everything, and I'm going to change the stroke color to white and also increase the stroke weight to 5 points, so that it's a lot easier for you all to see where all the folds have to be made, right? So once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and also make these type of shapes right here. So I'll be going back to this rectangle tool again, and I'll flip this as well because I want the fill to be white and it will not require the stroke as of now. So I'll be just making one simple rectangle like this. I'll zoom onto this, and now I'm going to choose the ellipse tool, come over here to the center, click on Shift plus Alt to make one circle like this, and I'm just going to round the edges of these rectangles like that. So there you go, we've made this shape. So I'm going to go ahead, select these two, click on Alt to make a copy, and then just drag it upwards like that. Okay, so we've got a basic template shape. Now the only thing that is left is to add the rest of our graphics as well. So I'm going to come back here to this layers panel, and I'm going to go ahead and lock my template panel. I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to rename layer 2 to be contents. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I'll be opening up a new image of a light bulb. So it's right here. So I had already saved this image from Google, and you can easily find such images as well. So whichever image you find is the best, you can use them and apply it on your template as well. So I'm just going to drag my image right here. So I'm just going to scale this as well so that it becomes a bigger version like that. I'm going to click on Alt and make another copy onto the back side as well. I'm going to select these two images, and I'm going to blend this with the background as well, so that it looks like that this image was printed onto our packaging. So in order to do that, I will be unlocking my layer. I'll come over here to this transparency panel, and over here in this blending mode, I'll click on this drop down box and click on multiply. So as you can see that the white background then gets removed and the image then gets blended with our packaging template like that. So once that's done, I can go ahead and also lock my layer again. And I'm going to close this. I will be now opening up my barcode and drag this as well, and I'm just going to drop my barcode image right here. Let's see, there's this one lighting. If I just zoom in onto this, there's this lighting facts as well. So I'm going to open up that image as well. It is. I'm going to just crop this image as well. And I just need this box. Like that, and I'm just going to drag this image right over here and scale this according to my template size. Since it's already in a PNG format, I do not have to add any blending mode on this. So once that's done, I can go ahead and also just close that window. Let's see. Okay, now I just have to add the texts as well. Okay, I'm gonna come back here, choose the star tool, and I'm gonna go ahead and make a star like this. So you can click on the up arrow key on your keyboard or on the down arrow keys to add more hands and make it into a star which has multiple hands like these. And I'm just gonna drag this image object right there, and inside this shape I will be adding the MRP price. So MRP price was rupees 350, and I'm going to increase its size to, let's say, 60 points, like that, and probably also make this semi bold and like that. Okay, now I'm gonna add the name, which is Palong. So I'm gonna type in the word, I'm gonna change its fill to white and make this semi bold and italic like that. I'm gonna just probably make this bigger, keep it right there. I'm gonna go ahead and click on Alt to make a copy, and also just make another copy onto the back side as well. So now I have to add this code as well, which is AC100. Wait, it is AC100 and 24 volts, if I'm correct. Yep, like that. I'm just gonna zoom in on this. Again, change the fill to white. I'm just gonna go ahead, make this regular, and also decrease its size to maybe 36 points like that. I'm gonna click on All to make a copy like that. Add this dashes in there, and I'm going to rename this to 30,000 hours. And now I'll be using the line tool to make one straight line like that. And the stroke line is going to be white, and the stroke weight is going to be 3. And okay, let's see what else I can do if the stroke weight is there. Yep. And I'm just gonna give a round cap to my stroke as well. Let's see. Yeah. I'm just gonna make this come in the center like that. Okay. So I'm gonna select my text. Click on Alt to make a copy and bring my text right about here as well. Like that. Okay. Now it gives out a soft light as well. So let's add that as well. So I'm just going to copy paste texts and then just change the words as well. So this says soft light, and I'm just going to change this to italics. It says 150 volts 15 volt capacity. So I'm just going to type out my word first. So it says 15 volt capacity. Going to change this to white, and over here in this paragraph form panel, I'm just going to make this into align center like that. Gonna bring it upwards a little, and I'm going to make a circle around the text. So I'm going to click on Shift plus Alt, make one circle like this. Going to swap this so that there is no fill and the stroke is white, and just change the stroke to white, stroke weight to 3 points like that. I'm just going to select this and this. I'm going to click on Alt and also copy these texts over here as well. So I'm going to select this image, unlock my template layer again, go to this transparency panel, and I will apply the same blending mode, which is multiply, like that. Okay. So now for the last thing that I have to add, which is this one. This rectangle which says 1250 LM. So I'm gonna make one like that rectangle. I'm just gonna go ahead and make this a little bit more bigger. Choose the text type tool, and I'm just gonna write in 1250 LM. Increase its font size to 72 and also make this semi-bold. I'm just going to make it come here, or probably just decrease the font size to 48 like that, and then just adjust the rectangle accordingly like that. So once I've got this, I'm going to select, I'm just going to lock this. I'm going to select these two, and let me just adjust my artboard. Yeah, I'll click on Alt to make a copy, and then just copy it right here as well. So there you go. We have now successfully made our light bulb packaging template. Now the only thing that is left for me to do is to save my document in an AI file. So in order to do that, but first before I save it, I have to make this one as well before I save it. So I'll be using the rectangle tool and making one rectangle like that. The stroke remains to be white, and the point stroke weight remains to be 3. And I'll be making it making changes, like bringing it inwards, like that. Wait, make it 5. Yep. Now it's ready to be saved. So now I can go to File and click on Save As. So by default, my file name is going to be the same as my document name, which was a light bulb packaging template, and my save as type is going to be Adobe Illustrator. I highly recommend that we save a file in this format so that in case if I have to make any further changes, I can easily do that by accessing my AI file, and I click on Save, and I click on OK. So there you go. We have now successfully made and saved our file in an AI format. So thank you for watching.